Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about 10 Miles of Peach Blossom, and we're going to be revisiting this drama. This is a drama that I watched a few years ago that I rewatch every single year, every single day, and every single week, and it is my obsession. It is probably one of the most toxic dramas I've ever watched, but I get a lot of enjoyment out of it, so let's discuss. So, 10 Miles of Peach Blossom is a Zanzia romance drama following the love story of Yahuwah and Baijan. Yahuwah is a fox spirit, and Baijan is a fox spirit, and Yahuwah is the crown prince of heaven, and his natural form is that of a dragon. Their romance does not actually begin until about episode 11 or 12, and this drama has about 55 episodes in it, but is incredibly fast paced. And their love story begins in the mortal realm, while Baijan is actually on a mortal trial. Yahuwah is not aware she's on a mortal trial when she's on it, and he just thinks she's an ordinary mortal because she has absolutely no magic, and they go through this really chaotic love story because he's lying to her the whole time because he's scared to admit to her that he is the crown prince of heaven, and she is this very naive, innocent woman who's been living alone the whole time, talking to animals, who finds this guy attractive and ends up agreeing to marry him in the mortal realm. And they actually meet in the mortal realm while he is in a snake form because he comes to Earth for a mission to save the mortals, and he gets injured. He gets into snake form, and then she saves him, and that's pretty much their meet cute. That is how their story begins. It's tragic because she ends up getting pregnant while he's trying to find a way to get away from heaven and pretend like he died so they can live together. And then during that time, what ends up happening is that somebody from heaven overhears her calling out Yahuwah's name and then tells the Heavenly Emperor, who is Yahuwah's grandfather, that Yahuwah has this lady who is carrying his child. And to be honest, the lady that is doing this, her name is Sujin. She's the female antagonist in this show. The whole intention of her saying what she said was to basically kill Baijan, who is Susu in the mortal realm. And it obviously causes a lot of chaos for Susu. She has trouble her entire pregnancy. The Sujin female antagonist is constantly coming at her because she wants Yahuwah, even though Yahuwah wants nothing to do with her. And eventually, Susu decides to fall to her death. She dies as a mortal, her mortal trial ends, and then she becomes Baijan again. Because all her family were like, where did you go? You went missing for this large time. She doesn't remember either. Well, she does at first and then tells her uncle to basically wipe her memory because she doesn't want to remember anything horrible she's experienced, which is understandable, but it also means that when she meets the male lead later in the immortal realm, in the heavenly realm, she doesn't remember who he is. And he's like, we have a child. He's been raising their child this whole time and just wishing her to come back, and he finally sees her, and it's this really great moment, even though he literally did it to himself. Some may argue that it wasn't entirely his fault and Sujin was a female antagonist designed to break up their relationship, but there were a lot of things that he could have done that he did a lot later on in the show that could have resolved a lot of the problems. But the reason why we don't really get to see a lot of resolutions early on in the show is because Sujin's character is simply there to build tension and nothing else, which honestly is poor character writing, and the only benefit to her character is that the actress is playing her very, very well, so you can hate her very easily. When you think about why her character was created just as a point of tension in the drama, it does seem like very bad writing, at least to me anyway. So aside from the main characters, you have a second couple. The second couple is made up of Baijan's cousin and the original Heavenly Emperor, and she falls in love with him. he was born out of stone. He actually can't fall in love, but he comes as close as he possibly can to loving her, and they have a very tragic relationship in this show. Eternal Love of Dream is actually a dream version of what could have been for their romance, and has a very happy ending for them in that drama, just not this drama. And I mean, surrounding the whole drama as well, like the backdrop of the drama, like the first 7 episodes, the exposition is about Baijan's story and how she was in Kunlun and she pretended to be a boy, even though her master knew that she was a girl, because she was a very naughty fox and her parents wanted her to go get trained. And she learns all these magic stuff and she has all these great experiences and she goes to war and her master dies. And he's like, wait for me, because her master was in love with her, but she didn't know. And she's also trying to resurrect her master throughout this entire show because she steals his body and feeds him foxblood because foxblood heals people, but he doesn't revive until much later on in the show because he actually would have woken up a lot sooner had she actually not stolen his body. But they work together to revive his body, her and her disciple brothers, and they work together and resurrect his body. Another thing I do want to mention is that the fact that Baijan stole his body, the master's body, and we don't actually get a decent, reasonable, like, contender for second male lead is so unfortunate because the master and Yahuwah are actually twins. They were only born at separate times because of a tragic incident, but they're twins. So it would have been really interesting to have that dynamic in the show. Instead, the second male lead is the king of like the demon ghost realm, and he is pretty much a slut. Like he just loves to sleep around. He's a whore. Like he's a mess. He loves Baijan, but he can't be honorable to her. He can't just be with her. The whole reason they don't end up together is because he sleeps with somebody else because Baijan has this, like, let's just call her a distant relative called Shanu, who it just hates Baijan because she wants to be Baijan because he's jealous of Baijan. And that girl slept with the second male lead pretending to be Baijan, and Baijan walked in on them sleeping together, and that was basically the end of that. The only female antagonist in this show that I feel like is actually well written is actually Janu. Like, she's evil, but the reason for why she hates Baijan is not really only because she wants Baijan's life, but also because in her own family, she is a concubine's daughter and has been mistreated her entire life and has been told she deserves less because she's a concubine's daughter. And nobody can say that that would have deep psychological effects on somebody. So her behavior is understandable, which is why I actually think she's a better written villain. She has like a proper villain origin story. Sujin, the female antagonist, does not have one. Like, there is really no reason for her behavior other than her obsession with Yahuwah, making her very irritating and also very just like, you don't need to exist. Like, the whole point of your character is tension, and there's nothing coming out from your character to even make me sympathize with you. And I know, I mean, it's fair that maybe, okay, we shouldn't sympathize with villains, but I feel like that doesn't bring any complexity to the characters, and characters with flesh are a lot more interesting, even if they're villains, even if you're not supposed to empathize with them. I should still be able to do that, and that's a criticism that I have for the drama. Another thing that I want to say is that the drama is very subtly addressing classism in the show through the idea of mortals being seen as less than by the heavenly realm. The heavenly realm that's really supposed to be protecting the mortals is actually looking down on them as they also go on their mortal trials. It's very classist, and even within the Zanzibar realm, the way Baijan is treated simply because she's the Fox King's daughter is a sign of classism. Like, it's very much who are you and whose daughter are you and who are you and whatever. And it's like, it's so embedded in their world and it affects how people are treated, and people who are not special are definitely treated less than. And it's very obvious in that universe, and it definitely addresses classism. It doesn't have a solution to the classism, it just explores it. It does not seek to, argue for or against it, or, like I said previously, resolve it, but it's there and it's very present and it's subtle but also very obvious at the same time. And honestly, that was also really well done. In addition, the OST is like really good. Like, this is one of the top Dandia romance OSTs. The music will simply make you feel something. I don't know. You'll listen to it and be like, I get it, I get it. I get this grand love story. Like, even with all the toxicity in it, I perfectly understand what is going on right now, and I love it. So, you know, that's my summary of 10 Miles of Peach Blossoms. Let me know what you think I like missed out or didn't talk about enough in the video in the comments below. If you like my channel, please subscribe. If you like this video, please hit the like button below. Thanks so much for listening. Bye bye.